What's going on, guys? It's your boy Old Scrubby here, back again with another video. Make sure to press the like button, comment down below, and subscribe if you're new or you'll get cold for Christmas. And if you really want to be a swag lord, check out the haha sweater in the description. And without further ado, let's get into the 7th episode of the 12 Days of Scrubs.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are all having an absolutely fantastic day. I know I am. And if you are having a fantastic day, be sure to press the like button, otherwise your crazy ex-girlfriend is going to show up at your wedding and do the "for now speak or forever hold your peace." She's going to jump up and start screaming about how this child is yours even though she doesn't even have a kid. And you don't want your wedding interrupted because that's super awkward, so press the like button. Anyways, guys, what's going on? It's your boy Scrub here, and today I'm going to be telling you guys about possibly one of the craziest exes I've ever talked about on my channel. It's not my ex, it's a friend of mine, but I was involved in the situation a little bit, and trust me when I tell you that this girl was definitely a little bit unhinged. Like, by the time we get to the end of the story, I'm pretty sure you guys are going to think that she needs to immediately go to Dr. Phil and be sent to the ranch, because that's the only way you can ever solve craziness like this, and I know you guys are going to enjoy the video, so yeah, let's get into it. So when I moved back to my hometown after dropping out of college to do this YouTube thing full time, I had a couple friends that I would hang out with relatively often. Not many people have the same schedule as a YouTuber, so whenever you find somebody that can kind of hang out during the day, you kind of latch onto them. And I had this one friend who actually worked out of state most of the time. He worked on like oil, something involving oil. So he would be home in Vegas for like a week or two, and then he would go work on these pipelines and the oil thing for like 3 weeks at a time. I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense. That's what he told me he did, and I don't know the specifics of it, so I'm just going to trust that I explained it fair enough. And he had a girlfriend who all of us were like kind of okay with. Like, don't get me wrong, I didn't love this girl. It wasn't like every time she was hanging out with us, I was cheering, jumping up and down, being like, oh, sick, his girlfriend's here, turn up. But we didn't really mind her, and I guess, you know, the distance thing, being out of state for 3 weeks at a time, only seeing your girlfriend a week out of the month, was a little strenuous. And when he was home, he didn't want to spend every waking moment with her, which is what she wanted to do with him. So he decided to end things with this girl. And they hadn't been dating for long, maybe 2 or 3 months, but it was no big deal. Like, you know, he ends things and he thinks it's pretty amicable. She's kind of like, oh, okay, whatever, no big deal. Or at least that's what she told him, and they go their separate ways, right? And whenever he would be out of state working, we would still text. We had a group chat with all of our friends in it, and he would always talk in there. And he starts telling us how he thought the breakup was going to be fair and normal. Isn't going like that, because she's calling him like 30 times a day. She's spamming him, begging him to get back with her, saying that they're meant to be together and that she loves him and that she'll do anything to prove it. And he's kind of like, we only dated for a couple weeks. It's not like, you know, we were anything serious. I'm sorry, but I'm just not ready to commit and marry you. I don't know you like that. And apparently she's not taking it very well. And our other people in the friend group, he actually became friends with us because he lived in the same apartment complex as a couple of our friends. And these friends that lived in the same apartment complex of him happened to not be in the group chat. That's going to be important. So he's telling us that she's crazy and they're broken up and that she's kind of obsessed with him and going insane. And, you know, we're kind of like, yeah, that's crazy. And all of us just assumed that he was telling everybody that they had broken up and that she wasn't supposed to be at his house or anything. You know, the typical 411. You think he's telling everyone that he's single and broken up with this girl. And up until this point, she had seemed relatively normal. Like, yes, she seemed a little heartbroken and upset that they had been broken up, but it wasn't like we expected her to do anything too drastic, because she was pretty normal during their relationship. And normally, when you're dating a crazy girl, you know in the back of your mind that this person is crazy. Like, it's not like you magically, oh, hey, guess what? Surprise, you know, I'm crazy. You can generally see it coming. But, so we don't think she's going to do anything that crazy. And he's in wherever the hell he was doing his work, I don't really know, and he's there for a couple months couple weeks, and then comes home to Vegas, and he's like, yo, can we hang out? Let's chill, like, let's go out, let's go have a good time. So we say yeah, and we all go out and we're hanging out with him, and at the end of the night he goes, hey, do we want to go back to my apartment and play video games, or just like goof off and have a good time? And we're all like, yeah, sure, for sure, man, everybody loves to have a good time. So we go home to his apartment, and we open the door, and everything seems pretty normal, but he's like, something's off, something's not right. He's like, my furniture is rearranged, there's no food in the fridge, I don't know what's going on, this is weird. So we start going through the rest of the house just to see if there's anything else that's off, you know, because he claims that everything's off. So We go through his room, and the bedspread's changed. There's like pictures that have been moved around in his room. There's no like soap in the shower. Everything's off. And he's like, I think someone has been living in my apartment when I was gone. Like when I was at work, I think somebody was in my apartment. And we're like, whoa, that's weird. None of us live in this apartment complex, but there's all those guys that we're also friends with. Maybe they saw something. Maybe they could tell us. So he's like, yeah, that's a good idea. So all of us go to our friend's apartment, who was like downstairs, one under him, and we knock on the door, and they answer, and like, hey guys, what's up? Do you want to hang out? And we're like, yeah, we want to hang out, but there's something important we have to talk about first. Was anybody in my apartment? He's like, everything's rearranged, I don't know what's going on, but everything's different. Can you guys, like, did you guys see anything? Did you hear anything? You're underneath me. Was anything going on? If you guys have any information, I'd appreciate it, because I don't exactly like coming home from being gone for 3 weeks and knowing that somebody was in my house without me knowing. That's a pretty creepy feeling, okay? I know what it's like to have a woman named Karen rifle through your stuff when you're home, so I couldn't imagine coming back from like 3 weeks being away and knowing that somebody was living in your house. Like, that's creepy, And the guys look confused, and they kind of look at him, and they're like, dude, your girlfriend's been living in your house. And he's like, huh? My what? And they're like, yeah, that girl that you were bringing over. And he's like, what are you talking about? And they're like, yeah, she would come over, and she'd talk to us for a little bit, and then she'd be like, all right, well, I miss him, and he said that I'm allowed to sleep in his bed because I miss him, so I'm just going to go up into the apartment and, and sleep. And they'd be like, okay, because it's his girlfriend, and yeah, it's a little weird, I guess, to sleep in someone's bed because you miss them, but whatever, it's a girl. And they're not going to be like, are you sure that you have permission to enter the premises, especially when they've seen her come over tons over the last couple weeks. And he's like, dog, we broke up. And they're like, wait, what? You guys broke up? She definitely told us that you guys were getting serious and that she was going to move in when you got back. And he's like, you're kidding, right? Like, did she actually say that? And they're like, yeah, she did. So he calls her, and she answers, and she's like, oh, hey, what's up? And he's like, hey, have you been in my apartment? Like, have you been in my apartment? Everything's rearranged. All my stuff is moved. There's pictures that I found in the closet that used to be up on my walls. Like, were you in my apartment? I need you to be honest with me. If you're honest, I won't get anyone else involved, but like, were you in my apartment? And she's like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. And so he goes, well, then why do the people who live underneath me say that they saw you in my apartment? Like, these people said that, they saw you. And she just gets really quiet and is like, well, I knew that we were going to get back together when you got back, because obviously my feelings for you were so strong, and like, I know we're supposed to be together, so I might have gone in and rearranged some stuff so that way when I moved in, it would be more comfortable for me. Like, I just want to be comfortable in our home, And he's like, it's not our home, it's my house, and you didn't have permission to go in there. And any chance of us getting back together is gone, because now you're showing me that you're a crazy person. Just some general advice, some general rules of thumbs, okay? It's not a good idea if you're trying to get back with somebody to break in to their house and rearrange furniture, because you know in your heart that they're going to be together someday. Like, that does not come off as flattering or adorable. It comes off as creepy and weird. So he tells her that they're done. They're never going to talk again. And she starts to get upset, and she's like, we're supposed to be together. I went and saw a psychic about it, and she says that she knows that we're supposed to be together. It's going to happen. You're overreacting. And he's like, I don't care what some psychic says, okay? The psychic is not in control of my life. I am, all right? Like, imagine going to some random lady on the side of the road. We don't even know if it was a real psychic. It could have just been somebody that was like, oh, yeah, I'm a psychic. Give me $50 and I'll tell you your future. And she tossed him a 50, and he's like, yeah, you'll get back together, I don't know. I don't really trust a psychic. And any girl that's like, oh, yeah, my psychic said we're supposed to be together, so it's guaranteed, now you have to let me move in, is probably a little bit out there. So he basically tells her that if she ever comes back to his apartment, then she's getting like arrested. He's not playing around. And the people who lived underneath him felt so bad. They're like, I'm so sorry, I had no idea. And he's like, I don't think you guys had an idea. Like, I don't think you guys were sitting there, with a white cat stroking it softly, going, today we're going to mess him over by letting his crazy ex move into his apartment. He's like, obviously I didn't tell you guys, it's my bad, I should have warned you. Why didn't you text me though? And she's like, and then they're like, well, she told us that you didn't take your phone this time. There was something weird with the pipeline, and you couldn't communicate with your phone, so there was no way for us to reach out to you, and we just believed her because we hadn't heard from you. And he's like, bro, this chick is crazy. So we think that's the end of the saga, right? He tells her to leave him alone. It should be no big deal. So a couple months go by, I think 4 or 5 months, 4.5 months-ish go by, and all of a sudden he starts getting texts from a number that he doesn't recognize telling him to back off their woman, all right? She's my girl. She's over you. What you guys have is in the past, you know. You can't continue flirting with her and reaching out to her. And he's like, what are you talking about? Like, he starts responding to the number, hey, who is her, first of all? I don't know what you're talking about. And come to find out, this girl, in the 4 months that they had been broken up, had moved on, found a guy, gotten engaged to be married, and then was telling this guy that she still had feelings for our friend because she knew in the bottom of her heart that they were supposed to be together. And our friend is like trying to argue with this dude and be like, look, I don't want your girlfriend. Your girlfriend is crazy. You can have her. She's your fiance. I don't want her. I don't know why she's telling you that she still has feelings for me or that we're going to end up together. I do not want to end up with your fiance. That is not on my agenda at all. And the guy's having none of it. And he's like, no, I know you've been flirting with her. You've been speaking to her in her dreams. And he's like, what are you talking about? Apparently crazy attracts crazy because these two crazy people were now madly in love. But basically, apparently my friend, after getting his apartment broken into and having this girl basically stalk him and like rearrange his furniture, was also communicating with her through dreams, you know, was sending her messages in her subconscious that were going to retroactively activate her trap card, and she was going to come running back into his arms and date him or something. I don't really know what the guy was saying, but apparently my friend was being very flirtatious in dreams, and that's not okay. And this is me telling all of you, if your crazy ex-girlfriend, you know, don't flirt with her in your dreams because then her fiance is apparently going to want to fight you. But, yeah, after squaring that away, he did end up hearing from her a little bit more, but that's another video. I could make another video about this saga. So if you guys want another video of that, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll do my best to get it out. But, yeah, I hope you guys all have an absolutely incredible day. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure you're hot, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time with another video. I'm out. Peace.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am, but I'm telling y'all right now, this story time we have today is about somebody that probably had the worst day ever. I'm not too sure why he sent this in to be talked about here on the channel, but basically, this guy's girlfriend ended up kissing his dad while they were at dinner one time. And, yeah, as you can tell, a very, very awkward situation. Regardless, nonetheless, we figured we could talk about it today on the channel, and yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. Press the like button or no joke, no scam. This is gonna happen to you, and sit back, relax, and enjoy.
I got eyes like an eagle, stacking so much money you would think that it's illegal. I'm getting quiet now, laying low when you reach, so I'm piping down, making out, stack the bread, cause you love the sound, just so.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so the person who sent in this story happens to be a little bit older, you know, usually the demographic's a little bit younger, but this guy was in college, and, you know, away at college, relationships tend to get a little bit more serious. You have a little bit more freedom, you know, your parents aren't there to tell you what you can and can't do, and naturally, because your parents aren't there to tell you what you can and can't do, sometimes you make some questionable choices. However, this guy was pretty sure that this girl he was talking to was the opposite of a questionable choice. He was like, this girl's perfect. I can't wait to bring her home and introduce her to my family. It's gonna be fantastic. And the girl, we're gonna call her Ashley for the purposes of this story, was the type of girl that, you know, seemed fantastic on paper, bro. She was like very nice, very polite, but for some reason, all this dude's friends like really didn't like her. They were constantly telling him that she was bad news and to get away from her, and he was like, that's weird, but they would never tell him why. They didn't really have proof or anything specific. They could just tell that they got a weird feeling off of her. And he didn't want to be the guy to like break up with a girl because the vibes of the boys were off, you know what I mean? So he decided to just keep dating her. Anyways, he was really crazy about her, so as I said, he decided that he was going to take her home to meet the parents. And so over Christmas break, she was going to come back with him for 2 weeks to stay with his family in his hometown and like get to know everybody, and everything was supposed to be great. So obviously, you would expect your significant other to be nervous before they meet your parents. That's perfectly normal. Nothing bizarre about that dude. But on the way, his girlfriend started asking him questions about his dad. Like, what does he look like, you know? Does he just look like you but older? And he ended up pulling up a picture of his dad and showing this girl. And the first thing that came out of her mouth wasn't like, you guys look alike or anything. The first thing she said was, oh, your dad's really hot. Which, you know, listen, it is very weird to hear about your parents parent, bro. The last thing you ever want to hear the person you're dating say is that your parent is hot. Like, please, no thank you. Please don't tell me that, dude. That is the last thing I'd ever want to hear. And he thinks it's weird and, like, gets mad at her for it. And he's kind of like, dude, why would you say that? That's just uncomfortable. And she's like, no, I was kidding. I was kidding. But he could tell by the way she said it that, like, it wasn't a joke, you know? But she plays it off as joking, and considering they're already on the way to stay at his parents for 2 weeks, it's a little late to back out now. So he just, like, tries to brush it off, and it's no big deal. Anyways, bro, they, like, get to his house. They're introducing everybody. The girl meets his dad and is super, super polite, you know, shakes his hand, gives him a big hug. Everything's going great. And then his mom comes out, and for some reason, his girlfriend is nowhere near as nice to his mom. It was just a little bit bizarre. It was almost like there was some awkward beef in the air, you know? And the mom and dad are kind of like, all right, well, we're gonna go to bed. You guys have a great time hanging out. Do whatever you want to do. It was great to meet you. They stayed up a little bit just to make sure that, like, they got there safely, but at that point, they're just gonna go to bed. So the parents go to bed, and the girlfriend is immediately like, all right, give me a tour. So he's giving her a tour, and the entire time, she's just looking at all the pictures, and she keeps staring at pictures of his dad when he was younger, like, for a weirdly long time. You know what I mean? And it was, like, a bit bizarre, but whatever. Once again, he wasn't trying to pay much attention to it. So he's just giving her the tour, room by room. This is this is that. And obviously, she's just, you know, looking at all the family pictures and whatnot. And then they got down into the basement. And she's like, oh, can your parents hear us from their room? And he says no. And he's thinking, you know, like, oh, this is sick. We're back in my childhood basement. Like, 13-year-old me is hyped at what's about to go down, and we're not gonna get into details, but that is not what happened, dude. As soon as he's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure my parents can't hear us, he starts leaning in for a kiss, right? And she, like, pulls away from him and is like, oh, no, not right now. I just had a quick question. I could tell that your dad was a little bit stressed when your mom came into the room. Like, I don't know if this is too personal, I don't mean to pry, but is their marriage doing okay? Which, you know, you don't mean to pry, but asking if this dude's parents' marriage is doing all right is the definition of prying. And obviously the guy's been at college, but he's pretty sure his parents are fine, so he tells her, he's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure my parents are fine, you know, why are you asking? And she's like, oh, no reason, you know, no reason whatsoever. I was just asking. I just wanted to make sure, you know, they're your family, they mean a lot to me. I just want to make sure that they're okay. And for some reason, this guy's like, oh, that's a really sweet excuse. He plays it off like she's just being sweet, dude. I'm keeping it $1.50 with you. If there's smoke, there's a fire usually, dog. And if all of these weird occurrences are occurring, chances are there's a weird reason, you know? She seems bizarrely interested in your dad. She keeps asking about your dad, asking if your parents' marriage is okay. It's probably because she's trying to hit on your dad, you know? Whatever, they end up going to bed, and the next morning he wakes up and his girlfriend's not in bed, and he goes out there, and his dad and his girlfriend are sitting there at the kitchen table talking and making coffee, and, like, his girlfriend is being, you know, very laughy and energetic, and he chalks it up to her trying to make a good first impression, you know? But she's usually not a morning person, so he thought it was a little bit weird, but whatever, it is what it is. And his dad is, like, seeming a little bit uncomfortable too, you know what I mean? Like, his dad's got a weird vibe to it. And whatever, they're sitting there eating breakfast, and everything's going okay. There's a little bit of awkward air, but he can't put his finger on it. And eventually his girlfriend gets up and, like, leaves the table, right? She's like, I'm gonna go shower, you know, you promised me a tour of your hometown today. But before she goes to shower, she's like, oh, hey, could your dad come with us? And his dad is like, nope, I've got work today. And his girlfriend's like, please come with us, please. He's like, no, I've got work today, which once again he thought was weird, but sure enough, his girlfriend goes to shower, and his dad is like, hey, I'm not trying to be weird, bro, but your girlfriend's being a little bit bizarre. Like, she's been hanging out with me all morning trying to talk to me. It's fine you guys are staying, but, like, I'm just getting a weird vibe off of her, and I just wanted you to know. And this guy started being like, what do you mean she's being weird? What do you mean? Like, what are you talking about? She's not being weird. And the dad was just kind of trying to be like, look, your girlfriend's just being a little weird, without telling his son, I'm pretty sure your girlfriend is hitting on me, you know? And that's when his mom is like, yeah, I don't like her. Straight up, something's off about her. I'm not a big fan. But whatever, they're kind of having a chit chat about it while his girlfriend's in the shower, and she comes out of the shower all dressed and ready to go, and he takes her her to the car, and they go on a tour of his hometown. And the entire time they're on a tour of his hometown, everything's fine. And he's like, look, I was clearly overthinking. Everything's cool now. Everything must have just been trying to make a good first impression. All right, guys, I'm going to interrupt the story time for just 1 second. On screen now is actually a gift card. I give one of these away in every story time as a way to just say thank you to everyone who's subscribed with notifications on. So if you're not already, you might as well subscribe and turn on notifications. I literally give away free money and you got nothing to lose. If you are one of the people that's already subscribed with notifications on, then thank you very much. Your support makes the channel go round. And yeah, I'll shut up and get back to the story time now. Thank you. That night, though, they were going out to dinner with their parents because the night before, obviously, they had gotten in late. So this was like their first night to go out to dinner and actually be out with his parents. So they get home and, you know, she's like, I'm going to go get ready and whatnot. And while they're in there, his dad's like, listen, dude, I'm just telling you, I'm getting a weird vibe from this girl. I might just not go. And he's like, Dad, you have to go. There's no way I'm going to be able to explain to her why you don't want to go to dinner with her without making it weird. So please just go. And the dad, like, really doesn't want to go. So whatever, the mom comes out, the girlfriend comes out, they all get in the car and they're going to dinner. And the entire ride, the car is just eerily silent, almost as if, like, you know, nobody wants to say anything. So they get there, they get their table, and obviously these people are in college, and you know, they decide to get some drinks, and the girlfriend starts to get a little as the kids say, hydrated these days, you know. And when you get hydrated, maybe stuff that you're better at keeping your mouth shut about starts to come out a little bit, and she just starts like flirting with his dad straight up. And his dad is having none of it, dude. He looks at her and he's like, you are my son's girlfriend. Are you kidding me right now? And his son is just sitting there like shocked. The kid who sent in the story doesn't really know what to do. And then in front of his mom, dude, his girlfriend leans over the table and just plants a kiss right on his dad in front of him at the restaurant. And at that point, bro, all hell breaks loose. His mom reaches back and just slaps this girl in the face. And she's like, oh my God, what was that for? And she's like, did you just kiss my husband? Who do you think you are? I can't believe that you have the nerve to come in after my family took you in all, you know, to come for these 2 weeks, and you couldn't even make it a couple days without hitting on my husband. What's wrong with you? And the entire restaurant is looking. And the girlfriend starts being like, I'm sorry, I thought he was flirting with me. And the dad's like, no, I've been telling my son to get you out of the house because you've been being weird. And the girl's like, no, you've been flirting with me. I know it. And the dad is like, no, I have not been, because I've been telling my son that you've been doing this, or trying to say it in the nicest way possible, but my son's an idiot and doesn't understand. So at that point, they just get the check. They go home, and the girl's like, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm getting a flight. You know, she's acting mad, as if she's the one who should be pissed that she just kissed his dad, you know? Like, the guy who's just got this whole situation done to him is just so confused. He doesn't even know what's happening. And before he's even able to, like, process anything and get angry, she's on an Uber, like, or in an Uber on her way to the airport, bro. She was not sticking around to be in the situation of awkwardness that she created. So she gets home, and he FaceTimes her, and he just like is screaming at her saying, what the hell is wrong with you, whatnot. And her excuse, no BS, is that she thought that he would appreciate that he or she wanted to get close with his family. And he's like, okay, yeah, I want you to get close with my family, but that is not the type of close that I meant, all right? And obviously, she, like, didn't expect the relationship to end, which blows my mind. He was done. He's like, no, that's it. I can't go back from this. That's over. And she was trying to convince him to stay in the relationship after she kissed his dad, bro. No, thank you. Honestly, to be fair, you did kind of dodge a bullet. Like, sure, it sucks that you have this story, but the fact that at least you figured this out right away and it wasn't like, you know, 8 years of marriage later with 6 kids when she tried to hit on your dad, that would have been a lot more awkward. Hello, dad, stepdad, grandpa. Like, that would have been just the most confusing situation of all time, bro. I just don't even know what the girl was thinking. Why would your boyfriend ever want you to kiss his dad? Ever? To get close with his like, what? Why would he want you to be that close with his family? I'm sorry, if your family is that close where, like, you're cool with your dad kissing your girlfriend, bro, that's weird. I'm not one to judge, but I'm judging because that's just weird. Anyways, guys, I think that's gonna do it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, I would really appreciate you just taking a second to press the like button. Also, comment down below. Anything does, it all helps to hit the video, hit recommended. If you guys want more content, I do have a podcast called The Scuffed Cast. A link to that can be found
found in the description, along with the link to the intro song and a link to the merch store. And if you ask me, the merch is pretty fire. Other than that, if you guys got any crazy story times, feel free to send them into my Instagram at Scrubby, Twitter at Scrubby_69. And on that note, that's going to do it for the video. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot. And I'll see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am. Today I've got a story time for you guys that I personally think is pretty funny, dude. It's about the time one of my ex-girlfriends literally hid in my trunk with a paintball gun to get back at me for breaking up with her for someone, even though that didn't happen. Yeah, it's a pretty bizarre situation, but regardless, you guys always seem to enjoy my pain, so I figured I'd turn it into a story time. Before we get into it, though, be sure to press the like button, or no joke, no scam, your ex-girlfriend will be hiding in your trunk. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into it.
It's not good. Nice rack in her ass Brazilian. Just turned 21, but my bank's a million. Swear I'm a little drunk, but it's a hell.
Alright, guys, so this story actually takes place at the end of 2019, about a year ago now. I didn't want to talk about it, but it's officially been a year since all this went down, according to my Snapchat memories, which is the statute of limitations, so I'm figuring I might as well send it. This takes place with this girl I was dating for like 2 months, you know. We were dating for a bit, and I just really wasn't feeling it anymore, you know. Like, you ever just kind of date someone for a bit, and you like them at the start, and then you kind of got to know them more, and you're like, never mind. That's basically what ended up happening, so I decided to break up with her. Now, breaking up with somebody is always super awkward. There's really, like, no nice way to do it at all. So, we were hanging out, and finally, I'm like, alright, I'm gonna send it, and I start breaking up with her. It's very awkward. It's, like, uncomfortable, as it always is whenever you're breaking up with somebody. And usually, this is when things start to go wrong. Like, the reason I get anxiety before I start breaking up with somebody is they usually don't take it well and are, like, arguing with you and whatnot, and you're just trying to skedaddle. But honestly, she looked like she was taking it really well, and I was super relieved that it seemed like she wasn't gonna be, like, a crazy person about it. So, we do the breakup thing, and she leaves, and I genuinely think I'm in the clear, because she appeared to take it super well, and I don't hear from her for a week. You know, I'm just vibing, I'm doing my thing, I'm not really flirting with other girls. Like, I wasn't looking to replace her right away. I didn't even have Tinder reinstalled yet. I was just kind of doing my own thing, and I figured I was in the clear, because like I said, I hadn't heard from her in about a week, and I wasn't, like, trying to do anything shady. I just didn't want to date her anymore. We just weren't gonna work out. But one day, she starts, like, trying to make me jealous by Snapchatting me on accident, and obviously, I'm using heavy sarcasm on accident, because it was, like, very obviously that she was pretending to Snapchat me on accident, but was just sending me the messages on purpose, but, like, wanted it to look like she wasn't trying to message me, you know? The Snapchat would be like, oh my god, you're so much cuter than Ryan, and then literally 2 seconds after she sent it, immediately like, oh my god, wrong person, I'm so embarrassed. And I literally didn't care, so I wasn't replying to him because it was just cringe. Like, it was really obvious to me that she wasn't Snapchatting anybody. She was just sending me these messages to, like, try to get me to respond and make me jealous. And that just wasn't gonna work, dude. Like, I really just didn't care. And listen, I'm sure maybe accidentally you can send somebody a wrong message and embarrass yourself. I'm sure it's happened before. It's happened to me once or twice. But the thing is, because I wasn't responding, dude, she just kept doing it to the point where she ended up, like, wrong messaging me, obviously, air quotes around that one, like 15 times in one night. And like I said, maybe once it's an accident, but 15 times, dude, I don't think that's possible unless you're like a 70-year-old person who just got a phone and Snapchat and is trying to hit up the cuties. And regardless, all 15 times, I'm just ignoring it because I'll be honest, it was more cringe than anything. Like, I know her intention was to make me jealous. It did not do that whatsoever. I was just honestly kind of sitting there like, oh, this is secondhand embarrassment for me. Like, this isn't 6th grade, bro. Keep in mind, I'm an adult, and this chick was older than me. She was 22. This 22-year-old woman is pretending that, like, she's wrong messaging somebody and flirting with them to try to make me jealous, and when it doesn't work, she just kept doing it. So obviously, I'm ignoring it. I'm not really getting jealous because I do not care. And for the rest of the day, I'm just ignoring it, and I end up going to bed relatively early. I really do like to wake up early, so me going to bed early isn't
bizarre. I need my beauty sleep, you know how it is. I can't be making like 5 videos a day without any rest. So yeah, I like to go to bed early. Sure, I might have the sleeping schedule of an 87-year-old man in a retirement home, but what you gonna do about it? You know, I gotta do what I gotta do for the grind. And I just did not really want to deal with these Snapchat messages. So I go to bed, and when I wake up, I take a look at my phone, and I'm not even kidding. It is like 57 text messages, 13 missed calls, and 6 voicemails from my ex while I was asleep. Thank God for the do not disturb feature on iPhones, by the way. That thing is beautiful. It just like makes it where you literally can't get notifications if you don't want to. This lady would have woken me up at least 40 times, but I just didn't see any of it. And I'm not gonna lie, even when I saw the messages, I really wasn't too stressed. I had just had a really cool dream that I was one of the Keebler elves, and we were all like making the cookies that provided all the joy to the country. It was a pretty good time. I was having a nice vibe, making some money as a Keebler elf in my dream. So I start reading these texts, dude, and it basically is just like broken, incoherent half sentences that are basically accusing me of breaking up with her to get with somebody else because I wasn't replying to her Snapchats. And the only reason that I wasn't replying to her Snapchats is if I already had another girlfriend, and like I should have just been honest when I was breaking up with her, and just railing into me about how I'm a horrible person and da-da-da-da-da. Keep in mind, I really wasn't like doing anything. I really hadn't gone behind her back and replaced her or moved on. I just wasn't replying to her snaps because they were annoying and stupid, and I just really didn't want to. Like, it was just kind of cringe that she was pretending to be having a conversation with somebody that I'm 90% sure didn't even exist to try to make me jealous. So I'm reading all these text messages that are like saying all this stuff that just, you know, is in la la land, and I'm like, wow, if the texts are this crazy, I wonder what the voicemail is gonna sound like. So I head over to the voicemail, and somehow things get even crazier than this delusional lady. Like, I mean, listen, I understand being upset, I get it, dude, but just because I don't reply to your stupid petty Snapchats that are annoying in the first place doesn't mean that it's like some giant conspiracy theory, you know what I mean? Just because you failed world geography doesn't mean that everything's actually a flat earther. You might just be bad at geography. Like, that was the logic she was using. If I broke up with her and didn't want her back, obviously it was because I replaced her. It couldn't be just because she was kind of cringe. And stuff like this is kind of cringe and kind of proves my point as to why I didn't want to date you anymore. And the voicemail is basically saying that she's gonna teach me a lesson and that I better be careful around my car, and is like just very threatening. And, you know, I didn't think this girl was very threatening, to be honest with you. I was about as scared as like, imagine if King Julian from Madagascar threatened you. Yeah, he has the confidence, but at the end of the day, he's a lemur, and I'm pretty sure I can punt a lemur. But she's saying like, keep an eye on my car and whatnot, like look out for my car, and I obviously go outside just to like make sure my car is fine. And when I go out there, I see that the trunk is like kind of ajar. It's not closed all the way, bro. And she had left this voicemail telling me she was gonna do something to my car. So as soon as I see the trunk is ajar, I'm kind of like, ah, crap, expecting, you know, to have a wild possum in there, or maybe she like egged the trunk, poured a bunch of milk in there to make it smell bad. I don't know. I was not expecting what I saw, dude. So I go over to the trunk, and as I'm going over in there, I'm kind of saying out loud, like, Jesus, this is so ridiculous, bro. Like, why do I always do this to myself? Because for some reason, man, I don't know why, but my type is just crazy. Like, I just have a type for crazy chicks. I don't ever expect them to be crazy. It's not ever like I'm looking around like, hey, do any of you guys want to threaten me repeatedly on voicemail about doing something to my car? That was never my intention. And this is actually before I got my new car. And I had been dating this girl for 2 months. And in my old car, there was this trick where you could like pop the trunk pretty easily if you just kind of like hit the badge of the car. And I had shown everybody that I knew that. I don't show anyone anything about my car anymore after this. So she had gotten the trunk open. It's not like she really had to break in. There was a way to pop the trunk pretty easily. But regardless, dude, I'm going over to the trunk as it's popped open. I'm just kind of talking to myself. And as I'm getting over there, I hear like a cough from the trunk. And I'm like, hold on, that was a cough. So I think there might be somebody in my trunk. And at this point, I go back to the garage, bro, and I grabbed like a hockey stick. I don't know why that's what I grabbed. I think it was just the nearest thing to me that I thought might be potentially useful as a weapon. I didn't know who was in the trunk, bro. Maybe she hired like a hitman off the dark web, or maybe it was Austin from Austin and Alley coming to challenge me to a dance battle, and I was gonna have to break his kneecaps with a hockey stick to win? I'm not really sure. I just knew I had to be prepared for the worst at any given chance, dude. When somebody says they're gonna do something crazy to your car and then you think you hear a person in the trunk, you approach with caution. I don't know. If that makes me a bad person, then so be it. Anyways, I get to like the trunk of the car, bro, and it's half open, and I just heard a cough. I've got my hockey stick ready to go, ready to smack anybody who pops out of this hoe, dude, and it goes open. And tell me why I see my ex-girlfriend in the trunk of my car holding a paintball gun, bro. I don't know what is going on. All I know is that I had a voicemail saying she's gonna do something to my car, and here she is, like, you know the dude from The Hangover that they accidentally had in the trunk? That's what she looks like, holding a paintball gun in my trunk. And when I see her, I go, what are you doing? And as soon as I say something, dude, she just opens fire with the paintball gun, and I get hit in the chest twice from like a foot away. It hurts. I'm obviously like, ow. And I didn't know what to do, so I just closed the trunk, but she was in it. So I closed the trunk, and once it's closed, she's like, let me out. So I go around to the car, and I'm like, I'm not going to let you out until you promise not to shoot me with the paintball gun, which I feel like is a pretty fair request. All right, guys, I'm going to stop the video for a second. On screen is an Xbox gift card. I actually give away a gift card every single day as a way to just say thank you to everybody who is subscribed. So, you know, if you are subscribed, thank you. If you're not, you might as well press that button, turn on notifications, because you got nothing to lose. It's free. You can always unsub, and I give away money every day, so you've got literally nothing to lose. And along with that, I do have a special announcement about some Christmas merch. I ended up making an ugly sweater Karen edition. I'll throw a picture of it on screen now, but if you guys are interested in picking that up, the link to the merch store will also be down below to get the festive spirit going. And let's get back to the video. So I'm like negotiating with this girl through the trunk, and she's like, fine, I won't shoot you. So I go and I open the trunk, and I'm like, what the hell are you doing? And she's like, you deserve this for what you did to me. Keep in mind, I didn't do anything, dude. All I did was break up with her, and we had been broken up, and I didn't even do anything. So even if I did what she accused me of, I was fine to be doing it. And her response was to hide in my trunk with a paintball gun. What in the law and order is going on, bro? If I ever go missing, you guys know who probably took me, because that's a pretty crazy thing to do. Like, I'm gonna hide in the trunk. I have no idea how long she was in there. I have no clue if she had, like, brought some granola bars to make sure that she had some sustenance just in case it would be a couple days, because I don't even drive my car every day, to be completely honest with you, especially since all this went down. Like, back then I drove it more because this was November, December of last year, but still, dude, it's not like I was driving every day. So for all I know, dude, she could have just been sitting in that trunk for a couple days. Regardless, she just immediately is like, I'm out of here, you deserve this, blah 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 blah. Before I can even ask questions or do anything, she gets in her car and speeds away, as if the only reason she ever came by was just to like shoot me with a paintball gun twice, which, you know, I guess I can take that. Yeah, it hurt, but like whatever, I was fine literally 12 seconds later. Dude, so she gets out of there, and I end up getting a couple more hate texts basically just being like, I deserved it. But what makes all this weirder is this lady came to my house, sat in my trunk, shot me with a paintball gun, but then just like left me alone after a couple more texts. All that commitment. Maybe it was just the shame. Maybe she realized that like there was really no way to salvage the relationship once she was playing hide and seek in my trunk. I just feel like anyone comfortable enough to climb in the trunk has got some issues, dude. Because I don't know about you, I'm not getting in a trunk. I've seen enough news stories about kids accidentally locking themselves in those and like overheating and passing out and never waking up. No, thank you. I don't care, dude. This girl could literally have punched my grandma. I'm not hiding in her trunk. I'm just not doing it. I also feel like it's a little bit different. I know it shouldn't be different, but I feel like if a dude was hiding in a girl's trunk, that's just a lot creepier. I prefer not to hide in trunks. Anyways, guys, I think that's gonna do it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, I would really appreciate you taking a second to press the like button. I'll even give you a bit. Okay, everyone, go press it. Press it right now. I'm waiting. Okay, thank you. Comment down below. If you don't know what to comment, just go ahead and comment something random. It just helps the video do better and recommended, gets me more views, more subs, all that good stuff. If you want more content other than that, I do have a podcast with a couple of other YouTube friends, Bumpkin and Dark Dom, called The Scuffed Cast. I'll put a link down below. Feel free to check that out, along with a link to the intro song. If you guys want to give that a listen, you can find that down there. And yeah, as I've said, for the merch, I have the Karen Christmas sweater, the OG Sub Club, and the Haha merch, all of which can be found at the Teespring store, which linked is also down in the description. Anyways, guys, that's gonna do it for the video. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am. And today I've got a story time for y'all that was sent in to me about a guy at this person's school who thinks he's dating an anime character. That type of cringe, we just gotta tell the story about. But before we get into it, be sure to press the like button. Otherwise, no joke, no scam, your best friend is gonna think they're dating an anime character. And without further ado, let's go.
Nice rack and her ass Brazilian. Just turned 21, but my bank's a million.
Alright, so as all of you know, back in the day, I used to tell quite a few stories about weeaboos. It's been a long time since I've had a good one submitted, but when I had this one sent in about a kid who thinks he's dating an anime character, it just really made me happy, so I figured I would share it with y'all. But basically, what you gotta know about this is that this takes place in a graphic design class that this person is in. And in this graphic design class, you really don't have to, share with the class. You don't have to talk to anyone. In fact, it's one of the only classes where, the teacher doesn't even take roll by talking. Like, at this kid's school, he literally just looks, and if you're sitting at your computer, you're marked there. But there's one kid in this class who, for whatever reason, is constantly, just talking really loudly, bragging to the class, asking to talk to the class about his life. Just obviously has I'm the main character syndrome. You know what I mean? Like, where they just think they're the most important person on the planet. And for some reason, you would think somebody that wants to get up in front of the class and brag about stuff would have a lot going on, but this kid really doesn't have a lot going on, and he's committed to trying to convince people that he is dating an anime character. And usually when somebody's trying to convince someone they're dating an anime character or whatever, usually the approach is oh, I'm dating someone that happens to have all the same qualities and name of an anime character, because they're hoping that you don't realize it's a cartoon character, right? No, this kid really is trying to convince his class full of people that he is dating a cartoon character, and it comes to life at night and comes and hangs out with them, but it's not gonna come to school or talk to any of them because it doesn't want them to judge its relationship. And what's wild is this is not an elementary school class here. This is a high school. This dude is out here trying to convince a bunch of people that he's dating a full-blown cartoon character. And at first they thought he was trolling. You know what I mean? They thought, okay, maybe this kid's just playing the long game to get a joke. He's gonna be like, haha, I convinced a group of people that I'm dating a cartoon character. But what really got weird is, as I said, it's a graphic design class, and some of the assignments that would get presented involved, photoshopping things together. You would get an assignment and have to edit things together. And because of that, people have gotten pretty proficient at Photoshop, and whenever they do an assignment, this guy turns in an edit of him and this specific anime character in super romantic places, but it's never far off in Paris, it's never a dream. He picks places in town, and when he turns it in, he says, I took this picture of me and my girlfriend, but I just edited in the sky. I made the sunset prettier, I did this, I did that. He completely just avoids saying the fact that he adds the anime character in as well. And so obviously people kind of started messing with him about it, confronting him, you're not actually dating the anime girl. And when they said he wasn't actually dating the anime girl, he got really mad, ugh! And was like, you guys have no idea what it's like to date a celebrity, okay? I know you guys have never heard of it, but in Japan, anime characters have been invented and have been voice acting for a long time. They've been real since the 90s. Yeah, bro, I understand that Japan is way more advanced, alright? They have better transportation, they have better technology. I'm not fighting with that here, but I think we definitely would have heard about it by now if they somehow managed to make cartoon characters become real. I also don't know what the benefit of that would be. If I was actually a cartoon company, it's so much easier for me to just have people voice act a character and not actually have to, be responsible for the character. But anyways, they were kind of dude, that's just not true. Come on, you are not dating this anime character. It's not real, you're not dating them. And he just would not admit it. Kept doubling down, getting angrier. And eventually he was like, if you guys aren't going to be supportive of my relationship, then just don't talk to me anymore. And when that happened, everyone was like, dude, trust me, we don't want to have to be hearing about your fake relationship with the cartoon girl that doesn't exist. It's just kind of hard not to hear about it when every assignment you're editing her into your pictures. And he's like, I do not edit her into the pictures. The pictures are taken of me and my girlfriend. They're like, regardless, you're always talking about her. You're always saying everything so loudly about her. If you don't want us to make fun of you and make fun of the fact that your girlfriend's not real, stop talking about her. And he's like, well, she is real, but fine. If you guys don't want to hear about my happy relationship anymore, then so be it. I won't talk about it anymore.
And so finally they think they've gotten rid of it, right? Like he's gonna stop talking about it. But sure enough, around that time of year, prom started to come up too. And inevitably in class, people started talking about prom, their plans, who they were taking. And this guy, of course, says, I'm bringing my girlfriend. And everyone's like, oh, do you have a girlfriend now? And he says it's the character's name. And once again, the people that are sitting near him were like, dude, you can't bring a cartoon character to prom. And he's like, no, trust me, she's gonna come. She says she wants to come show all of you guys that she's real, you know? And so, like, trust me, you guys will see, you guys will see. And obviously everyone's like, dude, you don't have to do this. Like, trust me, your girlfriend is not real. It's a cartoon character. It's okay, dude. Like, you don't have to bring her to prom. But he keeps being super insistent that she's gonna come, she's gonna come. So they kind of just deal with it, whatever. She's, you know, going to be at prom with this guy. And so prom is getting closer, and they keep expecting him to back out at the last second, you know, to be like, oh, she can't come, or I'm not gonna go, we're gonna go do something else, come up with some reason not to be there, but he keeps being insistent about it. And finally the night of prom comes, and everybody's all dressed up. Everybody's tuxedoed up, all that good stuff, ready to have themselves a good time, but everyone from this graphic design class is way more focused on trying to find this kid and his anime cartoon character date because they're like so excited to see what he's gonna do. And as they're scanning the floor trying to figure out where everybody is, finally they spot him over there and they cannot believe what he has brought to prom. Alright guys, I'm going to interrupt the video for just 1 second. If you take a look at your screen now, you'll see a PlayStation gift card. For those of you that don't know, I give away a gift card in every single video I post here on this channel to say thank you to y'all for subscribing and turning on notifications. So if you haven't already, you should do that. And yeah, if you already do, I appreciate you. On that note, I'll shut up and get back to the video now. Thanks. This kid had brought a cardboard cutout of this anime character to prom to try to convince everybody that she was real, dude. And listen, I know everybody thinks everyone at their high school is stupid. Chances are they are. I don't think any group of people is stupid enough to think that a cardboard cutout is a real person. So obviously, whenever they see it, like the group of people kind of go over there to talk to him. They're not going to try to make a scene or confront him or bully him or like overly embarrass him in front of everyone, right? Nobody wants that, but they just kind of got to like ask what he's doing because he is now like proceeding to go out on the dance floor and dance with this cardboard cutout. And obviously a lot of people are staring, but like he thinks they're staring because he's out on the dance floor with his quote unquote girlfriend. I don't think he really realized that people were aware of the fact that it's a cardboard cutout. So they go over there and they're like, dude, what are you doing? Like, this just looks weird. And instead of going, all right, guys, you got me. I'm really embarrassed that I committed to this fake cartoon girlfriend thing so long. So I kind of brought this cardboard cutout. I don't know why. It was really dumb that I'm thinking about it. He doesn't do that. Instead, he commits this hard where he goes, what do you mean? I'm here at prom with my date, He starts doing the voice of her, trying to talk to them, saying that, like, you guys are silly, obviously I'm real, like, what do you mean? And, you know, at that point, I feel like you've got to start getting annoyed, because that's just insulting your intelligence. So they start to be like, dude, come on. Like, do you think we're stupid? Like, you're really gonna try to pretend to be this cardboard cutout? And he does commit to the whole, like, no, it's me. And he's like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I don't think you're stupid. I'm just his date to prom. And so finally they're like, all right, man, if you're gonna be like this is ridiculous. This isn't even convincing. It's a cardboard cutout. Like, this is paper. You didn't even try to convince us that this is a real person. You're just insulting us by pretending to be her. And at that point, he switches back to him. Oh, well, you guys are just jealous because, like, she's so skinny that she looks like a cardboard cutout. Like, that's what this is about. Oh, you guys are trying to shame her for looking like she's made of cardboard. Well, she's a real woman. She just looks like cardboard. You guys are being ridiculous about this. Like, you think I'd bring a fake girl to prom, a cardboard cutout? And everyone's just kind of looking at him like, yeah, dude, I do. Now you're trying to convince me that a real person is as skinny as a piece of cardboard. I'm starting to think this is weird. And one of the other kids in the group kind of looks at him and goes, at this point, man, it's just kind of sad. Like, it's just kind of sad at this point. Like, you're really trying to convince a bunch of people that a cardboard cutout is real. I understand you might be embarrassed, but, like, come on, man. At this point, just give it up. And he's like, no, dude, there's no way that you actually think this is a cardboard cutout. You guys are just trying to embarrass me at prom. In fact, if she's a cardboard cutout, prove it. Because I don't think you guys have any proof she's a cardboard cutout outside of you guys being jealous.
And at that point, one of the other kids just leaches back and punches the cardboard cutout in the face. And obviously, cardboard cutouts aren't notorious for their ability to be like punched and bounce back. So as soon as he punches it, the head kind of flops back to the point where like the neck is now at a right angle. It is backwards, you know, it's broken. And everybody's like, see, it's cardboard, man. It's cardboard. It's cardboard. And the guy who has the cardboard cutout is sitting there with his arm still around its waist just looking at it. I don't think he expected them to, like, actually punch it. So he doesn't really know what to do. And then all of a sudden, like, the pause leaves his body, and he just starts screaming like he actually just watched somebody's neck break. No, no, what did you guys do? You punched my girlfriend. Why did you punch my girlfriend? Oh, now I have to take her to the hospital. Oh, I have to leave prom because you guys punched my girlfriend. And he like slowly leaves with the cardboard cutout saying he's gonna fix it. And he's like, oh man, I have to get her to the hospital now. And he seems almost relieved. You know, if you actually just thought a bunch of dudes snapped your girlfriend's neck, I think you would have a little bit of a stronger reaction. It just looked like he appreciated the fact that he had a way out now, you know, he had an escape. And so he leaves to take her to the hospital to get fixed. And the rest of the prom for everybody else is fine. Nothing else happened. No one else brings a cardboard cutout, right? And so he ends up coming back to class, and everyone's like, how's your date, man? And he's like, oh, she needed surgery. She broke her neck, but she's fine now. The doctors ended up putting back together. She says she wants to come to the dance in spring, and, you know, she understands why you guys thought that you thought she wasn't real, and, like, she understands the confusion, and maybe at the next dance you guys can talk more and hang out. So I don't know if that means that this guy actually does think he's like dating a cardboard cutout and it's talking back to him, in which case, you know, we got to keep an eye on that. I don't feel like that's super normal, but either that or he's just the most committed to convincing people that he's actually dating this anime character of all time. I feel like taking the cardboard cutout to prom, already bad enough. After it breaks, committing to it actually still being a real person is like almost impressive. Anyways, guys, I think that's going to do it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, I'd appreciate you taking a second to press the like button. Let me know in the comment section down below what you thought. And, of course, subscribe if you're new and turn on notifications. If you really want to help me out, you can check out the intro song linked down below, along with the link to my podcast, The Scuffed Cast, or you could use code SCRUBBY at the G Fuel checkout to get a discount on G Fuel. It helps me out, helps you out. Everyone's a winner. And last but certainly not least, I did go ahead and put some of my story times up on Spotify so you guys could listen to them over there. That link will be in the top of the description. Feel free to go do that if you want. I'd appreciate it. But yeah, on that note, don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace. Alright, so everyone's family's got like the one family member that's just a little bit of an embarrassment, and this guy's uncle was that, and he shows up at the family function one day saying that he's got himself a girlfriend. Not that people didn't believe him, they just were a little bit suspicious, and she was scamming him. They sent this in to me, said I could tell it on the channel, thought it would be nuts, thought you guys would find it crazy, so without further ado, let's go.
Nice rack in her ass Brazilian. Just turned 21, but my bank's a million. Swear.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrubby here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am. Here's the comment of the day. This guy has actually managed to be first on like 5 videos. I don't know how he does it, but I literally recognized his name for the first comment, so thank you. Other than that, today's story time is going to be one that is definitely nuts. I wouldn't go out and say that, like, the situation is funny, but it is entertaining, if that makes sense. It's a lot like a bad couple on 90 Day Fiancé, where you're like, oh, wow, you are both ruining your lives, but I can't stop looking. This guy's uncle had pretty much always been single, never really had any relationship, and it wasn't because he was, like, the worst guy ever. It was just never something he had gotten around to. So when he came around saying that he got a girlfriend, everybody was like, oh, okay, that's different, not what we expected, but good for you as long as you're happy. And for the first little bit, everything seemed fine. They didn't really know his girlfriend, he didn't love bringing her around, but he just kind of acted the same, but with a girlfriend. Then things started to get weird when his uncle started to get very distant from the family. He was always like there for every birthday, there for every event, very consistently there for the family. And all of a sudden, he started to get distant. And it wasn't just not coming to events. Sometimes people get busy. He and the person who sent this to me's dad would like go to lunch every week, and he just stopped showing up, didn't text him or anything about what was going on, just kind of stopped showing up. Just weird stuff like that. So whatever. One day he ends up bumping into his uncle at the store and is talking to him, and his uncle is like, yeah, I wish I could see you guys more, but I'm really busy working all the time to afford all of these fees. And he's confused on what fees he's talking about because he had never heard them mention them before. Like, these fees were something that was a new stress on his life, and he could tell it's really stressing him out. Just the way he was talking about it, it was like these fees were his arch nemesis. The fees were Perry the Platypus, and he was Dr. Doofenshmirtz. So he asked him, like, what fees? Can you explain it? And I guess that this girl he was dating had managed to convince him that there was a weekly girlfriend fee. And this wasn't a situation where, like, you're gonna pay me to be your girlfriend. It was not like that. His uncle didn't think he had a sugar baby situation. No, she had, like, managed to convince him that the bank charged people that were in a relationship a fee, which was kind of like a tax for being in a relationship. Which is dumb, but I don't know. I guess for some people, they don't think too much about what people say to them, especially if it's someone that they think they can trust. You've never been in a relationship before. You don't think anyone would take advantage of it, so you're like, whatever. They're probably telling the truth. Either way, he had been having a withdrawal of $500 a week from his bank account in order to cover this girlfriend fee. And it becomes very apparent to the guy that the girlfriend's just pocketing the money when he looks, and it's just like a withdrawal of cash from the ATM with his debit card, and he said it was an auto withdrawal, which meant she was just taking his debit card and taking it out. So, obviously, his uncle's getting scammed, but he has to go about telling him gently. He doesn't want him to freak out and be like, you guys can't be happy for me, just let me have my girlfriend. So he tries to nicely tell his uncle that, like, hey, I have a girlfriend, and I don't have a $500 a week charge coming out of my bank account. That seems a little bit unusual. I'm not that sure about that. And instead of taking it to heart and maybe even thinking about it, his uncle just goes into denial. One of the stages of grief, and is like, what are you talking about? You never want me to be happy. My girlfriend was right when she said that my family doesn't support me. Great. So not only is his uncle being distant, but his new girlfriend is charging him $500 a month as a girlfriend tax. Or a week, sorry, not even a month, that he doesn't know about, and convincing him that his family's against him when they try to say something about it. So whatever, his uncle's mad at him, so they go their separate ways, because he's like, I'm not trying to argue with you in the middle of the store, I'm not down, that doesn't sound that exciting to me. But that night, he starts getting threatening texts from a number he doesn't know, telling them that, like, they need to butt out of their uncle's relationship, and if they knew what was good for them, they would just let them be and stay out of their way. And it doesn't take some type of super genius detective to figure out who it was, because, I don't know, I don't think his uncle would send him threatening texts, and who else really cared? I don't think anyone else really cares about anyone else's relationship enough to, like, send threatening anonymous texts. It had to have been his uncle's girlfriend. Obviously, his uncle had gone home from their interaction and told her, so he just kind of replies being like, I'm not trying to interrupt your relationship, I just don't feel good letting my uncle get robbed, you know? And she sends another threatening text saying that because of his behavior, his uncle was never gonna talk to them again. And as of right now, the end of this current update, he hasn't talked to him again. His uncle has really gone dark on him, bro. He really said it's not worth it. I'm gonna go get scammed. I gotta pay my taxes. If you guys want me to keep y'all updated on this, I told him to email me with another update, so comment down below if you want me to do a part 2 of this eventually. I've got some more stories today, but I just thought this was nuts that someone actually convinced a fully grown adult that there's a tax for being in a relationship. This next one is just really embarrassing. So this guy was at a party with his close group of friends, and they were a little bit older. Not like embarrassing older, you know, like 55 or whatever, but late 20s, early 30s, a little bit too old to be acting the way that this particular dude was acting. Everybody had become a little bit hydrated. If you're not an OG of the channel and don't know what that means, I don't know what to tell you. But because they were all hydrated, they weren't making the best choices. And one of the guys that no one was really super hyped to have in the friend group, but had always been a part of the friend group, so they just kept inviting him, started like acting more and more annoying as he got hydrated and trying to show off, get people's attention, just, oh, look at me, like, guys, watch this, guys, watch this. He had a crush on one of the girls in the group that didn't like him back, and even though he was 30 years old, was still embarrassing himself like it was, 2 days ago in the cafeteria or whatever. But he's trying ridiculously hard to get everyone to pay attention to him, and no one is working with him, no one's paying attention, no one really cares. So he starts trying even harder, which just gives me secondhand embarrassment. If you're trying to get everyone's attention and they're just not looking at you, it's probably because you're annoying, but whatever. He's literally waving his hands at them like, guys, look over here. Guys, look. Keep in mind, we're not talking about somebody that's insanely young. We're talking about a 30-year-old man jumping and waving his hands trying to get people's attention. Oh, bro, like imagine your dad. Guys, look, watch what I'm gonna do. Watch. Like, oh my goodness, it just kind of makes you have some secondhand cringe. But no one's paying attention, so he just yells out that he's gonna do something really awesome and everybody should look. And then he goes silent. And it's not him yelling that he's going to do something awesome that got people to pay attention, but it was the fact that he had gone silent and wasn't trying to get their attention that made them look over. But as soon as they all look over and he sees that they look over, he goes for it. He just starts running, and he's gaining speed. He's not incredibly quick, but he is running, and everyone's really confused because there's really nothing over there. They were at one of their friends' houses, and the way that their backyard was set up is like half the backyard was this deck/fire pit thing, and then there was a fence, and then there was a garden. But he's very quickly approaching the fence, and so everyone expects him to slow down and do something. Like, there's no way he's just gonna run into the fence full speed, right? Well, he goes to, like, jump over it, and when he plants his foot to do, like, a hurdle jump, the only issue is his foot goes sliding, so he kind of goes forward, head first, into this fence after running full speed and breaks it, and he goes through the fence. And everybody that was watching this is just silent because they don't understand what happened, why he did that, what was going on. They literally looked over and this guy just started running towards the fence as fast as possible. But they're all very quickly snapped out of it when they hear like, oh, like pain groans, like he's hurt or something. And they run over there and he had gone head first but had put his arms through first. If that makes sense, almost like a dolphin dive from Call of Duty. Well, his wrist had taken a brunt of the impact, which did avoid it from hitting his head that hard, but his wrist had taken a bunch of the impact and it had broken. We're talking about bent the way it's not supposed to be bent. We're talking about like you can see bits of bone trying to poke through the skin. Not a very good situation, and everybody is just looking at it pretty grossed out because it's a gross sight. And he says, what happened? What happened? Like, tell me what happened. And so everyone delivers the news that your wrist is broken. Trust us, it's broken. It's bending away it's not supposed to bend. And he goes to look at it. And they stop him and they're like, you don't want to look at it. And he starts trying to argue with them, saying, well, I know my wrist isn't broken. It's not broken. I know it's not. So they say, trust us, dude, it's broken. And he won't trust them. So reluctantly, they let him look at it. And sure enough, he starts freaking out. He's like, oh, my wrist is broken. My wrist is broken. And the host of the party had already called an ambulance, so it's on the way. But they come back over and they're kind of asking the guy, like, what were you trying to do? You know, like my fence is destroyed and I don't even understand what the point was. You just ran full speed. And the guy is like, well, I was going to jump over it, but I didn't really practice it before, so I didn't know it was possible. And listen, if you're so unathletic that jumping over like a 2-foot tall fence is something that you need to practice for, maybe don't put it in your repertoire of things you do to impress people, you know? Like, if you are so unathletic that jumping over a 3-foot tall fence makes you so stressed you have no clue what to do, why would you try to do it after you had been hydrated to try to impress some people? And also, they're all adults. Did you think they would be like, oh man, whoa, did you see the way he jumped over that 3-foot tall fence? I might as well let him do my taxes. Like, I feel like it doesn't matter. If someone said, Ryan, watch, and jumped over a trash can, I would be like, wow, that certainly was cool. You jumped over a trash can. I wouldn't care. It wouldn't make me like them anymore. This guy seems stuck way, way back in the day. Like, not a good back in the day, you know? Way, way back in the day. Anyways, the ambulance comes. He gets taken to the hospital for a broken wrist. He, probably could have driven if somebody wanted to drive him, but he wasn't opposed. They had already called the ambulance, and everyone was hydrated, so no one could drive. Ambulance comes and gets him. For 2 days, no one really hears anything. And this friend group was relatively close, so usually they would talk to each other. So the fact that it had been so quiet after that was weird. Then out of nowhere, the guy who broke his wrist texts the group chat saying that he had been thinking about it quite a bit. And after talking to his family, he felt like it was the homeowner's fault. That's right, it's the guy who put the fence in the backyard's fault somehow, that he decided to sprint into the fence as fast as he could and dive into it. He said that if the guy would have made a more stable fence, then he wouldn't have been able to get through it so easily, and the odds of him being injured would have been a lot lower. And no one in the group chat is buying that whatsoever, all right? First of all, I feel like it probably would have hurt you more if it didn't break. Then your head would have smashed into it too. And also, he probably wasn't expecting a fully grown human to be sprinting into his fence when he designed it. It was probably to keep small stuff out, just be a divider. I don't think when he was having it built did he tell the guy, yeah, I've always worried about people charging it as fast as they can and ramming into it. Make sure it can withstand that. And no one in the group chat agrees. Everyone's like, all right, you're being ridiculous. And he is so confident that it is not his fault somehow that any of this happens, that he leaves the group chat and literally has not talked to that group of friends since, saying that they didn't support him, and they just were happy that he got injured. No one was happy that you got injured. They just didn't want to blame the guy who built a fence because you got tipsy and decided to try to run into it. This next one was sent in to me by someone who had just gotten to college, and they expected to have this super awesome college experience where their roommates were great and they had fun all the time, and they were having fun all the time, but their roommates kind of sucked. This one roommate in particular had parents who didn't know how to tell him no. It was very evident to everyone because when they had all been moving in and they were kind of interacting with each other's parents and whatnot, he would literally bully them into doing things for him. He would just degrade his parents in front of people until they did what they wanted. And it was almost like he would do it to try to impress people, if people were around, he would go out of his way to embarrass his parents and make them do things and make them look stupid. Very uncomfortable stuff, weird vibes. He would call them and demand money, just uncomfortable stuff. But whatever, he started doing it to impress people at college, and the person who sent this to me really didn't like it, but it really became one of his main personality traits was that he was willing to bully his parents. So, of course, everybody is kind of uncomfortable with this, but he couldn't read the room very well, and he would literally call his parents on speaker and start yelling at them to try to flex on people that he had his parents wrapped around his finger, which is some nuts behavior. Imagine just meeting somebody. You don't really know them that well, you haven't spent a lot of time with them, and one of the first things that they do is call their parents and start screaming at them in front of you to show you how awesome it is to have control over your parents. I don't want to be your friend, man. If you're willing to call and scream at your parents just to flex to me, then who knows what you're going to try to do as my friend. I can't trust someone that's going to call his grandma and say she's a toothless hag to try to get a giggle out of the boys. There's a line. I'll do a lot to make my friends laugh, but I feel like attacking my family members is not there. One day, though, he had invited a bunch of people over to the dorm, and they had talked about wanting to go out and do something later, but this guy, being a loser, didn't really have any money, so they said they could figure something out to do instead. But he said, no, don't worry about it. I'll just call my parents, and they're gonna give me money. And that's what made him a loser. It's not having money. If you don't have money, who cares? But if you're I don't need to get a job because mommy and daddy will pay for everything, that's some loser behavior. But he calls his dad And as soon as his dad answers, he's like, "What's up, bozo? You ready to give me some money?" And his dad doesn't take to it very well and says, like, "I'm not going to do this anymore." And his son is confused and says, "What do you mean you're not going to do this anymore? Like, what are you talking about?" And his dad starts saying that he's very ungrateful, and every time he calls him, he treats him with disrespect, and it's always just wanting something. He never calls to check on his family. He never calls to ask about his siblings. It's just always for money. And his response to that is like, "Yeah, well, that's because I don't care about you or mom or how my siblings are doing. That's none of my business. I just need what I need." And everyone there is literally cringing because they can't believe he just said that. And his dad starts trying to give him some more advice, and he just replies to his dad by saying, "Shut up and give me more money. I'm not coming to you for advice. I come to you for money. If I wanted advice, I would go ask someone more intelligent than you," just going in on his dad. And it's very evident to everyone listening, which is very awkward that people are listening. Keep in mind, he's doing this all to flex on people, that his dad's not messing around. And his dad's like, "Well, I'm not going to give you money. You need to listen to me before, we end this conversation." But he snaps back at his dad and is like, "No, you need to listen to me. I said give you money. You're not the type of person who can tell me no." Just nuts stuff to say to your parents. Like, I feel like A, anyone can tell you no. You don't have to like that they said it, but anyone can say it. And B, your parents should be the people that are telling you no the most often in your life. Like, if anything, if you put it all together, including your childhood, who else has probably told you no more than your parents? It'd be hard for anyone to give them a run for your money considering they raised you, but whatever. He is going off on his dad saying, "Shut up, give me money," and his dad just hangs up, which stood out to the person who sent this to me because his dad usually just took it and then caved in, and everyone was kind of surprised he had hung up that had seen this before. A few of the new people literally got up and left after that because he had just made them uncomfortable, but he decides that he's going to try to call his dad back. So he calls his dad back, and his dad doesn't even let him talk this time and is like, "Listen, you're cut off. We're not giving you any money anymore. We're not paying for anything." And his son is like, "Well, what do you mean you're not going to pay for anything?" Almost flabbergasted his parents had the nerve to ever mutter the words no to him. And his dad starts going off about how they're not paying for his food, they're not paying for his car, they're not paying for his school. He's got to figure out a way to pay for all of it. And his jaw literally drops open. He had been insulting his parents to flex on people, and now they're saying he's cut off, and he starts arguing with them, being like, "You can't do that." And his dad says, "Yeah, actually, I can. You're very ungrateful for everything we do. You call me and insult me to, impress your friends. Even if your friends are impressed by that, they're probably not very good friends. Like, imagine all your boys get together. Oh, call in to grade your family members. That's probably not the type of people you want to be spending a bunch of time with. But whatever, you've been taking it too far. So yeah, figure out how to pay for it. Because if I'm going to be doing all this work to pay for my kid's school, the least he's going to do is be respectful." And he once again starts screaming, "Oh, you can't do that. You have to take care of me. I'm your kid." So his dad says something that should be obvious to everybody. "You're an adult, pal. So there's actually nothing that I have to do for you. I don't have to do anything. I literally have done my job legally. If I don't want to ever talk to you again, I don't have to." Which is cold, but I think he had been more than patient after taking weeks of every time his kid calls him just being insulted and being told he's nothing more than a piggy bank and he's good for nothing. And the spoiled kid is just sitting there stammering, not even knowing what to say, and he keeps trying to reason with him, and his dad finally snaps one more time and is like, "I tried to tell you to listen. Literally, earlier this call, I said stop and listen to me before we end this conversation, and you wouldn't. And this was why. I was going to talk to you and say you're very close to being cut off, but you just didn't want to listen." And at that point, he stands up, takes his dad off speaker, and walks out of the room. I'm surprised he kept it on speaker that long. The second he said, "You're cut off," he probably should have taken it off speaker. But he was trying to be brave, maybe thought he would get a cool recovery moment. Nah, not the case, pal. Everyone just listened to the cutting off beefinito. And they can hear him through the door begging his dad not to cut him off because he's paying for all of his schooling and he doesn't know how he's going to pay for college. And they don't know what his dad is saying, but it was probably something along the lines of "you should have thought about that before you started insulting me." And for the next few days, he kept calling his parents and trying to apologize and trying to get them to pay for it. But he had pushed them too far, and every time he did, he would just get shut down. And they were like, no, you treated us really poorly. We're not going to keep paying for your school after all that. And he actually had to go get a job, which is not the worst thing in the world. Everyone has to get a job. At least most people do, unless your parents were going to pay for you forever. But his whole demeanor changed. He became a lot less over the top, cocky, confident, mean to people. Snapped him back to reality. So at the bare minimum, his parents did bring him back down to earth. It was their fault that he was that high up in the clouds in the first place. But seriously, talk about fumbling a bag. Your parents agreed to pay for your entire college. That's a lot of money. That's not a small favor that they're doing for you. And all you had to do was keep your mouth shut and not insult them, and you would get free schooling. And you just couldn't do it? I feel like that's really not that difficult to do. Just shut up and finish school, dude. Your parents are paying for it. And also, why would you have to just go insult your parents to that point? I don't understand. I'm not saying everyone's got beautiful situations with your parents, but even if you don't like them, you could just not talk to them and keep getting your college paid for. You don't have to go out of your way to make sure that they dislike you and you get cut off. And why be mean to your parents? I don't know. Listen, have my parents done some stuff I don't like? 100%. But at the end of the day, they're my mom and dad. I'm not gonna make them that miserable. Anyways, guys, I think that's gonna do it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, you should press the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comment section down below. If you don't know what to comment, please go ahead and comment scam down below. It would mean a lot. It helps the video do better. And if you don't press the like button, then no joke, no scam, your kid's gonna be as spoiled as the last dude we just talked about, and you don't want that. If you're new, you should subscribe and turn on those notifications because I post videos like this every day, and I've been on the grind. I've been pumping out the long videos. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but yeah, there's some short ones, but I've been trying to push them above 20, 22 minutes each time. So if you appreciate that, like and comment too. And if you want to listen to the audio version, I do post it on Spotify. Link down below, along with a link to my intro song as well. And if you want even more of me, they do have a podcast. I do have a podcast over on my third channel, Scrub A. Feel free to check it out. But on that note, that'll do it. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot. And I'll see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.